coming on board, I had great expectations. I mean, for one, I was referred by a quality assurance engineer herself. I was very excited as well that I was making this move because I've been looking forward to making this career switch into tech. I knew that it was going to get to a point that I would have to start coding. And I didn't know how I was going to get past that. But then I'm super glad that the program was scheduled in a way that we have you have someone you can reach out to should you have any hitch in whatever point in the course of executing a project.
All right, so welcome to the masterclass on how to switch to software testing even without a tech background. How do you switch to tech and acquire a software testing skills that pays in dollars and helps you to relocate abroad? I know that those two are the important. It's not even the software testing skill right now. It's the fact that you earn in dollar and the fact that you'll be able to relocate abroad. All right, so anyways, thank you so much for joining once again. And yes, my name is Iburenke Yakini, and a few things that I do. And of course, this will also tell you why I am qualified to be the one to walk you through this part. Currently, I'm the CV of Testify Limited, which is a planet of software testing. We get to know more details about that later, or you can easily visit the testify.com website for details. I'm also the convener of Tech for Christ. It's a faith-based platform for empowering believers with employable skills and businesses. I'm also the co-founder of Smart Rift, which is a fintech business for local traders. I'm the head of testing at African FinTech here in the UK, and the company is basically a fintech company product that acquired entities to solve Africa's financial pains. And also, I'm the community lead of Ministry of Testing Lagos, which is a global software testing community. Few places that I've worked: INEC, Dufuna, Carbon, Interswitch, OZE, Symphony Solutions, and AFL. Yeah, I think, of course, everybody knows INEC, but please don't look at me from the point of election that is going on. But yes, INEC, Dufuna is in Nigeria, Carbon is global, but based in Nigeria, Interswitch is in Nigeria, OZE is in Ghana, Symphony Solution is in Netherlands, and of course, AFL is here in the UK. Few places you would have seen me being featured on Forbes, on Tech About, getting 2 award nominated at Tech Trend, part of the 100 Women You Should Follow in Tech in 2023, an interview that I had with Tribune, and of course some stages, some amazing global stages that I have mounted. DevFest in 2019, where I talked about don't go live without testing. I also was a guest speaker at GDG in 2021. I was also a speaker in Nigeria last year. And of course, by next week, come join me at Tech Show London, where I'll be speaking to over 12,000 audience. And of course, you can also join me in Chicago by the end of March, where I'll be speaking on how we are going to be solving unemployment in Africa with testing and Selenium. So yes, these are stages, let me say, few stages that I've mounted, and I've talked to them, about testing, preaching the gospel of testing. And of course, that seems like a very rosy, peasy thing that everybody would desire, but it was not always that beautiful. To me, I see software testing more than a job. I see it as, of course, I've always been good in other jobs. It is more than getting high-paying jobs. I worked a year without getting paid. It is more than getting a remote job. Of course, I used to work on site before COVID started, or before COVID came around and left. It is a life-changing career for everyone because nothing beats a quality life. So in the beginning, I'm not saying in the beginning was the word, but yes, in the beginning, I used to work as a teacher, which is something I love to do. I used to work as a teacher. Mind you, I have like 8 years working experience as a teacher. And I do customer service personnel and receptionist. And of course, I used to be a permanent night shift when doing my factory work. And of course, you know what that means. I used to be very drained and confused, very shy, plus really, even if I'm not shy, I had nothing to say. Starting afresh was a no-no because what I had is what I had to stick to. Education was great. Yes, I had a very good education, but I don't have an employable skills. But we'll get to talk about that later. When you say an uncivilized environment, you know those villages. Yes, we once lived there because there was no opportunity, and I never attended any meetup. I was quite too timid not to talk or even talking to anyone. How much more going on stage to not talk as a guest speaker. Then I was introduced to software testing. And now in software testing, I work as a software test engineer. I'm now focused and I've grown. I can share and I've contributed knowledge. I now have a sought after employable skill. I live and work wherever I feel like. And I've attended global events. And most importantly, I've talked there as a guest speaker. Now, why am I sharing all this personal information with you? I'm sure you are wondering. This is just to let you know that software testing is a life skill necessary for building a successful career. It is not just a course you are here to come and take, right? It is a life skill. Because building a successful career in tech involves designing your career, developing your career, standing out, launching yourself and employ into the world, upskilling and maintaining the best and the beautiful version of yourself. And these are the things you will learn in software testing as a tech career. Okay, now what are the simple and effective solutions to overcome the top 4 challenges of switching to tech for people with no previous tech background? The number one thing is overcoming having a wrong mindset. I can tell you that in the last 4 years, I've been training and converting and helping people to switch into software testing. Many wrong mindset is what keep a lot of them stuck. They say things like, I need an IT background. I need to have graduated in computer science or any science background before I before I can move into tech. They say things like, I need to learn how to code. They say things like, coding is very hard. They have the mindset that you need a sophisticated laptop to dive into tech. Some says you will not be able to go out and enjoy yourself. Some says you cannot learn something new. I'm too old or I'm too young. I mean, I'm over 50 already. Can I even learn this thing? Oh, I'm just barely 20 years old. I'm not sure this thing I can do it. And the truth is, with this mindset, you won't leave your current job. And with this mindset, you will end back at the spot that you think you will not be. With this same mindset, you will start getting jealous when people are doing the little thing for much more than you are earning. And the truth is, the old life will continue to happen. And you know what that means? You got to do one job, do it for a while. When you're tired, you retire. And you wait for your children to start feeding you when you grow and all of that. So the circle continues. But you have the power to rewrite your story, really. You can stop being scared of jobs. You can be so skilled that you can never go jobless until you want to stop working. Now, this is a testimonial of one of my previous graduates who got a first job during the training. Her name is Finn. She said the training came absolutely in the right time for her. The organization of the models, the videos, and the materials was a tool that reduces the anxiety. The ability to learn at her own pace and time still works with other people, with 2 amazing people. Now, the truth is, she graduated with civil engineering in school, but here today she works as of today, she works as an intermediate software test engineer. She doesn't have anything but tech background. Second mistake is, or the second thing that affects people with no tech background for making a career switch is they don't have a career map. They just want to go into tech. You want to do everything. There is data analysis, you go into it. There is software testing, somewhere you go for it. After this call, if you hear that they're doing free front-end course, you take it. After this call, you hear that they're doing data analysis somewhere, for free, you run to it. You see a course on Udemy on cybersecurity, you take it. You want to do everything. And you think plenty road leads to more results. By the time I'm good with this, and this, everything will bring me money. And you think doing plenty will help you to gain plenty. And you think that you can become an IT expert in all. But you can choose one and master. And remember, my very popular quote states that with the mastery comes the million. All you have to do is to stop doing everything, choose one thing and master it. Now, this is from Stanley, who used to do a lot of things. He was a solar installer. He does everything until he decided to switch. And barely 2 months after graduating in software testing skill, he was able to land himself a job at CWG in Lagos. The third very mistake is you don't have an in-depth knowledge of his skill, the how and the four W's. Yes, you hear that right. A lot of time, most of us cannot, and this simply means that because you don't have an in-depth understanding, you cannot defend what you know confidently. You go for this interview, you just realize that I've learned so much on this topic. I've taken a course online, I've done this online, but I keep failing interview. I still don't get the job. My CV is not getting me an interview. What is going on? That is because you do not know in-depthness. You do not have an in-depth understanding of the skill. You don't have an in-depth understanding the whys and the hows and the what and the where and the when of a particular skill in tech. So that's a mistake that you need to stop doing. One of the things you need to start doing is learn intensively and continually practice to become better. Now, of course, that is what this is what Maureen does. She used to be a customer service person, and she saw it as a blessing in disguise. Yes, she had to focus on one thing, and she was able to master it, and she was able to get in-depth understanding of that skill. And immediately she finished the program. While in the same company, she switched from a customer service role to a software tech role. And the fourth mistake, which will be the last mistake for this category, is wrong community. I know if I check the number of followers you have right now on social media, on your IG, probably you have like 3,000 followers right now, and you're probably following like 6,000 people. But if we check 5,500 or 5,999 of them, probably there's celebrities on social media, people that you want to drag, people that you want to you just want to know what is going on in people's life. You are following the wrong set of people. You don't want to become a tech expert when you should be following somebody in tech, and then you're following and knowing the latest beats that Wizkid is dropping or Beyonce is dropping out there. You are in the wrong community. Your LinkedIn, you don't have any tech person that you're in a circle with and you're following or you're modeling after. Your Facebook, your Instagram, or Twitter. I dare you to take a look through your social media circles, and let's see if you're actually following the right circle. That's one of the mistakes a lot of people that are not into tech do. They follow the wrong set of people, and as a reason of that, they don't get the right information that can help them to switch successfully into tech with ease. Now, all you have to do is to join the right community. They always say something in Yoruba, which I'll try to translate to English, is that if you are selling this, you better find a bread seller to be your best friend. You can work together to achieve more. So yes, all you have to do is to find the right network and be in the right community of people. So this is the first stage of my presentation. There are three, but this is the first stage. Let's talk about software testing a little. I'm sure a lot of you have heard so much about software testing. You have heard software testing 1,000,001 times. Now, a very simple way I would describe software testing to you is, when you hear the word testing, let's start from there. One thing that comes to your mind is the food you eat when you're cooking. When you're cooking, you test food, right? So let me pick someone at random, and then we can interact. Okay. So Ayobami Dele, can you unmute yourself? Thank you. So I'm going to ask you some simple questions. You just give me, short answers to them. So when you cook your food, do you taste them?
Yes, I do. I taste my food.
All right. So no, I'm asking Ayobami Dele. All right. So thank you. You say you taste your food. Why do you taste it?
To know if it's sweet, if it's delicious, or if I should add more salt or seasoning.
Okay. Another scenario I will also give is, if you go to the market to buy a ready-made wear, do you test it? Do you wear it on your body?
Yes, I do, to check if it's my size.
What else? Why else do you wear it?
To see if it looks nice on me.
All right. So it means that it's very possible that those clothes will look nice on other people, but might not look nice on you. And it also means that clothes could also be a size for someone, but might not size you. So, the essence of testing is for you to check the usability, durability, and availability of that particular way. So let's bring it into software. Now, before I go into what software testing is in combination, we know what testing simply means. You are checking for something, right? There is a requirement you have in your mind that you are checking for. That is the essence of what you are testing, right? There is a requirement. There is something you want to confirm. So meaning that if you test that thing and it fits perfectly well, you are good to go with it. If it does not fit well, even if it is cheap, it is still a waste, right? So what are softwares? Example of software. Now, there are different kind of software, the application, their system, and all of that. You get to know more details about that. But a very simple example of a software is, example, the Google Meet that you're on right now is a software application. Your WhatsApp is a software. Your antivirus on your system is a software. Your MS Word is a software, right? Any application you use on your computer that you can see but cannot touch is a software. So combination of software testing, using those two knowledge of them that you have together simply means that there is a software, but there's a requirement for that software to become usable. So what you are doing in software testing is you are testing to see that that product that has been developed, that software that has been developed actually meets the requirement that you have actually set down. Please, did that make any sense? Anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so to come again, it simply means that there is a testing, there is a requirement that you want to check for. And of course, there is a software. Now, what you are doing together in software testing is that you are testing to see that that software actually meets the usability. So if you open your laptop today and then you download MS Word, but you cannot type on MS Word, you say that, this MS Word is not good though. Which kind of MS Word is this? I beg, uninstall. Now, it means that that MS Word did not meet your requirement to use. If you download an application on Play Store or your App Store, and then you want to use it to convert money from Naira to dollar, and then you open the application, and you cannot even simple sign up, what would you do? A lot of time, 99% of time, you all uninstall the app and say, I beg, this one a nonsense app, right? It means that that product was not properly tested. It means that it does not meet your requirement. And the truth is, by default, every one of us is a typical tester. Every one of us is a tester by nature. The only difference between you and myself is that I've chosen to make it a career for myself and I get paid in it. You just do it unconsciously without paying full attention to it. Okay? So that is simply in a very layman language. Is that all to it? Definitely not. But that is just a very basic of it. Of course, when it comes into the software testing world, there are things we call the manual testing, the automation testing. Manual testing in most cases means that now, typically when it comes to software, like I said, when you were wearing that clothes the other time, what you have to do is to wear it to see if it fits your size. Now, in a very modernized world, you might not be able to wear that clothes. Probably you are in UK and the clothes you want to wear is in US, right? You possibly send your size to them. There's going to be an automated system that checks if the size meets what you have imputed. And of course, it's going to produce that dress for you. So there is an automation. So when it comes to a manual testing system, we tell you that, okay, you are manually going to check for these things by yourself. You are manually going to wear the clothes and see if it fits. You are manually going to think about, okay, what are the other things I need to check for? You are going to be using your brain. You are going to be thinking. So it's more of a mindset, it's more of a thinking capacity. So when you're doing manual testing or when you're doing testing generally, you have to be somebody that is very smart, someone that can think outside of the box, someone that can be patient, someone that can analyze a particular software, right? Someone that can critique a product. Now, when you are testing a project, most importantly, you need to be able to taste to break. A lot of us, we know you break a lot of plates when we are very young, right? You just want to check this handle is not working, and before you know it, the handle has broken. Now, the essence of testing is not for you to pass the software, it's for you to break and see where the issue is. So you are testing to break. You are not testing to make it look good. The essence of a developer, yourself and a developer are on the same pedestal. Both of you are the same thing. But the difference is that a developer writes a code to develop. You have to test to break it. So you have to make sure that there is no loophole in that software that an issue can come up. So if I did not test the WhatsApp properly, you will not be able to send WhatsApp message to people, right? If that phone is not well tested properly, you will not be able to make calls. Now, there is a screen that they used to call Gorilla screen. Now, that is because that application has been properly tested. There's something called hardware testing, and there's something called durability testing in hardware. It means that some of those screens has undergone some kind of testing. They put them in the fridge, they put them under the sun, they drop them on a very high place. Those are hardware testing. These things undergo testing. The software you use All those things that are on your phone, those applications like 500 on your phone, they are all softwares. And in the course of development, they must have been tested before they are usable. Especially the most useful app, the most used app on your phone. Now, what makes an application most used app on your phone? In fact, I used to say that it is the most used because it is the most tested and properly tested application. What that seems to be the most, easy chat on everybody's phone, right? That was because an intensive amount of work, an intensive knowledge of testing has gone into it. To the degree you enjoy the application is to the degree of intensive testing that has been done on the application. Am I making any sense, guys? Are you understanding?
Yes, you are making sense. Yeah.
Like if you hear software testing now, if you hear it, is it making any sense to you now? Yes, very good. Now, in all of these things that I've said, you realize I did not mention any tool. I did not mention any code, right? Now, this is the typical thing you can do for the next 3 to 4 years of your career without writing a single line of code, thinking, testing, analyzing, presenting, breaking. You can continue doing this for the next 4 years of your career and still be earning in dollars. So you don't have to write code to get there. However, when we start saying we want to start making money, we start making billions per month, we want to start earning in 7 figures per month, then we can now say, okay, you need to learn a bit of automation. You need to now, that's where we now say use code to reduce your stress. So that thing that you do continually over and over again, you can write a code by yourself to automate them. Now, all of these things, it doesn't jump in the roof for you to know them. You learn it. Now, and I'm saying that you cannot say coding is difficult, because if it is that difficult, how come we have a 16-year-old boy as a senior developer in Twitter? If it is that difficult, how do we have children of age 8, age 10 learn coding if it is that difficult? It only means that you have not learned how to code like ABC from the right place. It's as simple as that, because it is not difficult. But anyways, that's not why we are here today. But I hope you understand the differences, what software testing is now, and you know the difference between manual and automation testing. So for manual testing, which is something you continue to do for a very long time, all you have to do is to have the capacity to think. At least I believe everybody on this call knows how to think, right? So you must have the capacity to think. You can write, you can analyze, you can criticize, you can test to break. Now, that is the characteristic, and you are patient to get taxed on. Now, that is the characteristic you need to become a software tester. It has nothing to do with your gender. It has nothing to do about what you studied in your school. If you have PhD or post-PhD before, it has nothing to do with it. You just need to be able to be focused, be calm, be able to analyze, be able to test, and be able to think outside of the box. So now I talked about that. Now, when we talk about in the industry, which we talk about, so I've talked about software testing. Landing a job is very simple. Experience, resume, apply, interview. Yeah, there are various ways for you to land a job. Now, one of the things why I love software testing the most is that it is one of those jobs you don't need a 9-to-5 job before you have an experience. Let me come again. You don't need a 9-to-5 job before you get experience in tech. You don't need a 9-to-5 job before you get experience in software testing. Now, let me give you an expo of how that works. When I started my career in software testing, I remember a particular day when, of course, job was yet. Skills, please, let's all stay muted. Let's all stay muted. Oh, you want me? Kindly stay muted. Now, the job wasn't coming yet, but I had this queue. One of the things I did is that I went straight to Play Store, download the application, test the application, did every kind of stages identity in software test that I've learned, and then I sent my reports to the development of the company. Of course, in every application on Play Store, you always see the developer's email address. It could be the company email address, it could be the developer's email address, and I send my report to them. In doing these things for like 8 to 5 times, some companies are giving me money, some company gave me a contract to do. And of course, one of the companies I first worked with, that was where it came from. And I said, oh, wow, you help us to test this report for free. Come and work with us for internship. I worked with them for 3 months, and then I got a more permanent job. So you don't really need a 9-to-5 job before you can get experience. You don't need to be in a company before you can get experience in tech. The same thing is applicable for a developer. The same thing is applicable for a designer. The same thing is applicable for you as a software tester. In fact, software testers are one of the important people that can get experience anywhere without stepping into any company. Resume. Of course, when I see some resume at times when people say they are looking for a job, you cannot even get called because your resume will not even pass the ATS application that will help them to screen your resume. There are structures and there are systems for helping you to get called for an interview. You see, when you see people graduate from Test Code Camp or from the Testify academic program, go into the market and secure the job while you have been there in the last 6 months or 6 years looking for the job, you wonder what are they doing differently? Because there is a structure to the kind of resume that is expected for you to have in the tech space. So yes, when it comes to tech, there is a resume structure and there are approaches. Yes, apply. But you don't apply to every kind of job. One of the things that I always advise over and over again is you don't apply to companies that just send you email addresses at gmail.com. It is a taboo in tech. You don't send your resume to them. Because in most cases, the person is just somebody that just writes something out there because they want to use your resume. So you don't send your resume or your CV to a company that has at gmail.com as their email. Even Google uses at google.com. All right. So apply for jobs. Now, how do you apply for jobs? When you look through the responsibility or the requirement, the truth is, in most cases, you have the skill. It's the English that they use to analyze them that is different. So if you have up to 40% of the requirement of the job, apply. Now, when it comes to doing an interview, there are ways for you to answer questions. And by the time you're done with that interview, you yourself will know the job. Okay? When you go for an interview, a lot of times I see people, you want to go for an interview, and then 30 minutes to the interview, you're not even in the meeting link. People are just joining this call the same way they will join an interview meeting. When you go for an interview, you have to be there at least 15 minutes before the meeting starts. Whether it is online, 15 minutes, you should be on the meeting link. If they're not allowing you to get into the meeting link, stay at the door before, at least 15 minutes before the meeting starts. During the interview, you have to focus on your strength. Now, this is one of the easy things. I've interviewed at least over 1,000 people in tech, and I see a lot of time people shoot themselves at the foot. Don't forget you send your resume to them. So they have your resume in front of them. If I were you, one of the things you do is you focus more on your strengths when you're answering a question, when you're going for, when they say introduce yourself. For any typical interviewer, 5 minutes into the interview, I know if I'm retaining you or if you are going. 5 minutes into the interview, I know if I want you or you are leaving. 5 minutes is enough. So the first way for you to fail an interview is to introduce yourself wrongly. Now, a lot of people come when I say introduce yourself, you tell me your name. I think on this call, when we started, somebody was asked to introduce themselves, and then the person started with their name and talked about, typical structure. You tell us your name and then tell us what you're trying to do. But in real sense, you're meant to tell us what we do not know about you that is in your resume. Yeah, your resume typically should not be more than 1 page, except you have more than 10 years of experience. Yes, you know that you already shoot yourself at the leg by having 3-page resume. Nobody will read it. 1-page resume at most, and you're gone. Now, tell us what it is not in the resume. A lot of time, I speak from the experience that nobody knows that I have. I talked about my community service, especially depends on the kind of company you're interviewing with. And that is why the area of researching is very important. When you're called for an interview, you need to do a proper research on that company, no matter how good you are. You need to know who is interviewing you in and out. One of the companies that I interviewed just to test if my skill was very employable in Germany was the person that was going to interview me had been teaching people in software testing before. So I went on the person YouTube page and I watched the person courses. I went to make research about the. So when I was speaking from the area of interest of that person. And trust me, by the time we were done with the interview, we were just chit-chatting. And I got the offer in just one interview. So some of you go through 4, 5, 6 stages of interview. That is because you have not impressed them from the first interview. So when you go for an interview, you have to make sure that you are there to beat them off their feet. It is a two-way interaction. You're not going there for an exam. It is a two-way interaction. You are going to assess who interviewing you, and they're also assessing who they are bringing on board. So it is your goal to make sure that in this defense and in this judge case, right, you have to make sure that you beat the person off their foot. It's just like taking someone on a date. You have to make sure that you give all your best to impress them on the first instance. So if you go for an interview and you're not even properly dressed, you know you have failed from that first spot. There is no way about it. You go for an interview, you're wearing singlet or you're wearing a tank top as a lady, or you are not well dressed because, it is a remote interview. You have failed the interview. They will just not call you back. or because you're a guy, you do not brush your hair, you do not shave yourself, you are just wearing a round neck and putting up head warmer because why? You're outside of the country. No, you have to be presentable. Now, if your network is bad, is another thing entirely to help you to fail. So personally for me, while I was in Nigeria, I had every network that is available. Does it worth the stress? Of course it worth the stress. That is the reason why I always get the offer that you cannot get. So you want to make sure that your environment, everything works for you. If you have 6 interviews that day, you have to be prepared for each one of them as though you are worried, as though you are concerned, as though you are ready to smash every single one of them. It is not possible to prepare for an interview, to be good in your skill, to prepare for the interview and answer the question from a place of strength and not secure the job. I have not seen anybody that has not gotten that job. So these are the few tips that I have for you. Now, when you're applying for jobs, yes, you can always send your CV, but there are other ways for you to apply for jobs. Now, I feel like you sending your CV to any company is one of the weakest ways to apply for jobs. You should be that visible on your social media. And I'm not saying go to social media and go and be doing TikTok dance. I'm saying you should be so presentable on your professional social media platform that HR should be trooping into your DMs. That is how we secure job in the 20th century. So if you are still one of those people that send, please find attached, we have left you behind. We have left you behind. We don't do find attached anymore. I cannot remember the last year that I've ever done find attached. You should be so presentable. You should be so in demand. You should be so visible that you should be highly in demand and you should be sought after. And that is when you say you are a professional. If you are not sought after, if HR is not the one coming to give you an offer in your EDM, you are not a sought after. You are not a professional. Now, that is totally beyond having the skill, because you can have the skill and not be sought after. And that is because your skill is not accessible. So once again, the last part I will talk about landing a job is don't look beyond the 4 walls of your country. I'm in Nigeria, so there's no job in Nigeria. Actually, that's not true. There's nothing like there's no job in Nigeria. You are the one that don't have the right skill that is needed in Nigeria. Because if you need 1 million naira per month today, and if you have the right skill, there's a company out there that is ready to pay you. So when I talked about from the beginning of the session, I talked about how you design, you develop, you implement, you launch, and you sell yourself. These are the way you land yourself a job. Look beyond the 4 walls of the country. Nigeria is not the only country you get job from. While I was in Nigeria, I wasn't working in Nigeria. I was working outside of the country. And I was living in Ibadan. So don't think I was living in one Lekki Phase 1 area. All right. So these are the few tips that I have for you in landing a job. I just hope I'm making any sense anyways. So the next one we'll go to, we are still talking about the few tips of landing a job. All right, so let's go to it. Internship versus junior. Now, you get a lot of time when you see internship opportunities versus junior role. There are 2 distinct differences between the 2 of them. When it is an internship opportunity, you are going there to learn. However, you should have something to show that you are ready to learn more. Now, there's a difference between I want to go and learn. If you want to go and learn totally, go to an academy and go and learn. However, if you want to go and gain experience, then you should go for internship. Now, when you go for an internship, I'm not saying you should not ask for money. I'm not saying having money is a bad idea, but I'm saying your focus should be on the experience, not on the money. I've done an internship for an entire 1 year without getting paid. But after that 1 year, the money I started asking for, it took people 3 years in their career to start asking for it and start getting it. So when you're going for an internship opportunity, your focus is the experience. Now, this is not to say a company should ask you to have 7 years experience for an internship role or for a 3 years experience for an internship role. Typically, in an ideal internship opportunity, they should be asking for 0 to 1 year experience in that field. Asking for the basic and the most minimum requirements. That is internship. So when you're going for an internship, probably you're finished an academy and you want to go and learn. In most cases in tech, you work fully remote online and probably they give you money for data. That is internship. Some there are companies that are very resourceful and very rich. They can go as high as paying you as high as 100K. Yes, I've seen that firsthand with my student. Now, that is an internship. You have learned. Now you want to implement. That is internship. For a junior, we expect a level of experience. We expect at least 2 years experience from you, meaning that you have implemented at least once or twice before, but you want to gain further experiences. These are the differences that you need to know between internship and junior. Yes, we are expecting some basic level of experience from you as a junior person. Basically, we need you to have at least 1 to 2 years experience to be a junior software test engineer. But for an intern role, 0 to 1 year is what is required for you. Those are the differences. Another thing when it comes to software testing is the career growth. Now, the truth is there are various industries that exist in the world globally. And the truth is, in every sector, there is a role for you as a software tester. Be it in high-tech companies, in finance, in media, in education, in non-profit, in manufacturing, in consumer, in the health sector, in construction, transportation, government, corporate services, travel and entertainment, services industry, arts. There is an opportunity everywhere. This is a breakdown of where you can function as a software tester. There is no limitation to where you can work. That is what it means. And there is no limitation to the country you can work. Every country has a requirement for you as a software tester, and every industry has a requirement. If there is AI today, there are people we call the AI testers. If there is data today, there's people we call the big data testing. If there is hardware today, there's people we call the hardware tester. If there is security, there are people we call the security testers. There is variety of industries you can work in. You are not limited to one. When it comes to your career growth, of course, we call them the vertical and the horizontal growth. You can go from intern to junior to associate to senior to team lead to manager, like that. Or you can also grow vertically, right? You can also go, this is a vertical, you can also grow horizontally, where you move from learning one skill in testing and then move like. So today you know how to write test case, tomorrow you know how to write test plan, next tomorrow you know how to do API testing, next tomorrow you know how to do database testing, next tomorrow you know how to do automation testing, next tomorrow you know how to do performance testing, next tomorrow you know how to do. Now that is another horizontal approach to grow. So you can grow horizontally and you can grow vertically. But I'll ask you, and I always advise you 100%, prioritize growing horizontally before you start trying to jump the ladder. A lot of time we see people put it on their LinkedIn page and say, I'm a senior test engineer, but typically they cannot even do a basic API testing. So focus more on the horizontal growth. Learn those skills and grow according to those layers before you start jumping up the ladder. Because once you jump the ladder, I can tell you that it will be very hard for you to humble yourself to come back to learn basics. Now, let me give a typical example why I say it can be very hard. Because of what you know, let's say you know how to do a very detailed database testing or a very detailed mobile testing, and you get an opportunity of 300K. I can tell you for a fact that you might not find it so easy to come back and start learning how to write a detailed test plan, because you have now moved the ladder to a senior level. And please, I also understand that people go in money. Before you're earning 50K, now you're growing 100, now you're going 150, now you're going 300,000, now you're going 1 million naira per month, now you're going 2 million naira per month. But hey, you need to know that your growth should not be measured by the money, because the truth is, with the mastery comes the millions. Once you have the skill, it is a superpower. I can work in any company as a junior role, and I will still earn fantastically well. I don't need to put head of something. I don't think any of the titles you see me did introduction of myself in the first slide. It is nowhere found on my LinkedIn page. Why? Because that is not my priority. My priority is in the skill. It's being grounded in the skill. That is where the priority is. So don't let that be your goal. Like, oh, this one I've been 500. Let me just stay here for another 6 months. After 6 months, I move to another 700K job. The truth is, you can leave a 100,000 naira job and move to an 800K job if you are good at your skill. So it is not about how long. Now, when it comes to tech, especially for software testing, you do not need to be in that field for 3-4 years before you start earning 1 million naira per month. Again, if you are good with that skill, you can be earning 50K to start, and the next salary you ask them for is 500K if you can defend your skill. You don't have to stay in the field for 2-3 years before you start earning in millions. Your focus should be rooted on this skill. I hope I'm making sense, guys. Now, average typical salary, if you're an intern in Nigeria, is 1.8 million naira per annum. Oh, sorry. Per annum, you earn 1.8 million. You can divide that by 12 to know. After that, it's an average 3 million naira for a junior tester. I said an average. Most cases nowadays, it is way more than that. An intern aid as high as this 4.2 million naira per annum. So This is just an average value. 1.8 million naira for an intern. On an average, a junior person earns 3 million naira per annum. On an average, an associate or intermediate person earns 4.2 million naira per annum. For a senior person, on an average, they earn 6 million naira per annum. For a test manager, they earn 8.5 million naira per annum. And a test manager earns 10 million naira per annum. Now, all of this is scrap it. This is the agenda, and this is the skill as far back as 2015. As of today, as a senior test manager, people earn 1 million naira per month. Okay, this is not which is far more than what a test manager is earning in 2015. All right. As of today, a senior person earns 1 million naira per month, meaning on an average 12 million naira per annum. So for a junior or an associate person, their salary moves between 600K to 500K per month on an average. Now, that is for people working in Nigeria. In most cases, we don't do the Nigerian things again, right? A lot of people go in the dollar form. You are in Nigeria, you are working with a Nigerian person, with a Nigerian government, or why am I saying Nigerian government? With a Nigerian company, and you are earning in USD. At least I have some testers on this call, I don't want to mention their name, that actually in Nigeria and they are earning USD. So yes, this is just an intro amount into software testing. Show and tell, which is almost the last one I will talk about when it comes to introduction to software testing, the second category of our talk today. Show and tell simply means show us what you can do. Tell us what you can do. See, you can be very excellent, but if nobody knows about it, nobody knows about it. Now, let me give a typical example. If I bring a cloth, of course, it's on the floor in Alabama market, and I put the bell or the ring the bell, and I tell you 50, 15, 100, when you see that, oh, you like it, what do? You pack 3, 4, 5 of it, right? And then you pay me and then you go. But guess what? That clothes, you definitely not wear that clothes for an interview. Yes or no? Will you wear that clothes for an interview? Hello? Can you wear that clothes for an interview? That 100 naira clothes, that 15 naira clothes you buy on the floor, can you wear it for an interview? Definitely not now. At most, you want to iron it, you want to stash it, you want to make it. In fact, the way you walk self, you're like, hey, God, let them not know that it's 15 naira clothes I'm wearing. But in most cases, you would never wear it. But I can tell you that same clothes, I can wash it, iron, take it into a show glass shop, put the blue bulb, and tell you that it's 3,500. But you know what? You will buy the same clothes, but there's a difference. Now you wear that clothes for an interview comfortably. It is still the same clothes, but something is different. The value you place on them is what differs. Now, how much value do you place on yourself? Now, that is the difference between you and myself. The value I place on myself is different from the value you place on yourself, even if we have the same level of understanding. Even if we are on the same skill, even if we have the same skill, the reason why it will take me 2 years in a new field to start earning 3 million naira per month, and the same person will be in that field for another 7 years before they start earning 3 million naira per month, is the value we place on ourselves and how we position on ourselves and how we show ourselves and how we tell ourselves. How do you place value in yourself? How do you show people what you worth? Because if you check your LinkedIn or you check your social circle, are you sure you're not displaying yourself as a quicker? Are you sure you're really showing yourself as a boutique clothes? Are you sure if I come to you, I will not just want to offer you 10 naira because of the way you show yourself? Now, this is the difference between the way employer sees you. Show and tell. Show the world what you can do. Now, let me give another scenario. If I'm in a bus and you are the conductor, and let's say myself and Ayobamidele wants to collect change from you, and Ayobamidele is telling you as a conductor, please now, if you don't give me my change, just give me my change. And I am saying, if you don't give me my change, I want to go. Please, who would you attend to if you have 15 naira with you? I need answers.
The person shouting.
Why? Because one is to keep quiet. Exactly. That is the way I have shown myself to you. It is the most. See, people no longer vote. People no longer buy resources that is good. People buy resources that is the most present in their faces. That is what people pay value for. That is what people pay for. People no longer pay because, oh, you're a good person. Let me give you, you're very good. I was just praying and then the Holy Spirit revealed to me that you're very good at your skill. No, it is the person that whenever I open my page and I keep getting value from, that I will pay my money to. Even if you don't have the opportunity right now, if you go to the LinkedIn page, maybe today you shall see me write something somewhere. Tomorrow you write, I like this post. Next tomorrow you see it. The day an opportunity shows up on software testing, the first person you will remember is the Bironke. Why? Because previously I have registered myself in your memory unconsciously by the way I continuously show myself. So there's something we call show and tell. You can do show and tell by being involved in open source projects. You can do show and tell by doing all those works that you gather on Play Store, on App Store, and put them on GitHub. You can do show and tell by having a YouTube page and sharing your knowledge, the little thing you learn, even if it is what you software testing that you just learned. Show and tell. If you know you are a good writer, show and tell. Write. If you are good at speaking, speak. Volunteer to speak. If you speak today and you mess up, you cannot go tomorrow and mess up. But if you refuse to go today to mess up, then until the day you go, you will keep messing up at your first try. So that is what we call the show and tell. You need to show the world what you have. You need to be the loudest noise for you to get the opportunity. However, in the course of showing them and shouting to be the loudest noise, make sure that you are showing them the boutique version of yourself and not the quicker. For you to switch to software testing completely in 90 days, there is a framework we can use, especially if you do not have a tech background or you do not have an IT skill, or you are coming from a customer service role, a banking role, oil and gas, nursing, petroleum, anything at all that you are going, any area you have been. In fact, students, or you have been a graduate, all you have is just your certificate with you. You have not done anything else. This framework I'm about to share with you is the framework that you can use to successfully switch into software testing in 90 days. The first steps, they are just very 4 basic steps. Just 4. 1, design your software testing career map. 2, develop a professional software testing career skill. 3, go pro with your testing skill. And lastly, hit the market reformed and land yourself a job. Let's pick it one by one. Develop a professional career in software testing. What does that mean? It means you need to craft your own vision statement. You need to understand the roads and following it to the end. Oh, Princess, I'm currently a teacher in a school, and I want to become a software test engineer by December 2023. You need to design a roadmap that is needed for you to develop that skill. You need to know what do you need to be doing per month and per time for you to be able to get the job. So the first thing you need to do is to create a career map. It is important because it helps you to focus and it gives you a sense of direction. What happens when you have a career map? You start seeing results in terms of growth and you start making achievements. That is what you get. You start seeing results. So when you take once and say, okay, yes, I've done this, so I know the next step to do. I know the next thing to do. Then you start marking your achievements. Why most people don't do this is because they don't understand that this is a career. They just see it as a job. Now, let me give you one statement for a fact. You can get 500 jobs in one career, but you cannot get one career in 500 jobs. Let me repeat it again. You can get 500 jobs in one career, but you cannot get one career in doing 500 jobs. So it is beyond a job. It is beyond going into tech. It is beyond switching. It is beyond just having a skill. It is a career. So a lot of people don't build a career map. They just start working. They just want to start working. They don't want to start making money. And guess what happens to them? 3 years down the line, they are tired. Not because they're not making money, but they are tired because they do not have a map that helps them to grow. They don't know the next thing to be doing. They will come back and say, Princess, now testing, I did it to at least I was able to have a house, but I didn't become a millionaire in it. You know, it's 9 to 5 job. So they say in 9 to 5 job, you cannot become a millionaire, you cannot buy a house. It's a lie. It is, I'm telling you now, it is a lie that you cannot become a millionaire, or you cannot build your house, or you cannot buy your car, or you cannot become a millionaire in a 9-to-5 job, or that you have to become a CEO of your own. You have to become it is because you are doing the wrong career. So most people don't do it because they don't know that it is a career. They just think it's a job. So they just start learning skills and move on. So that is it. The first thing you need to do is to develop it. The second thing is develop a professional software testing skill. Now that you have the map, the next thing is to develop a professional software testing skill. See, understand the in-depth details of software testing. Carry the full end-to-end life cycle of software testing. You know, I was telling you that you test a food, you wear the clothes to check the requirements. Software testing is beyond, does it pass or does it fail? It is an entire process. It is beyond if it passes or fails. It is an entire process. Okay? So you need to have an in-depth understanding of software testing. What I just gave to you as an introduction is just to say, A for what? A for Apple. There is so much to software testing that you can consume within a short time. Now, at the end of this, by the time you have a career map and you have developed a professional testing skill, it is expected of you to start seeing job offers. Because at this stage, you have a skill that is employable. Now, why it is important is that it is the bedrock of your career. Whether you are going to stay in this career and be successful, whether you are going to stay in this career and become rich, whether you are going to stay in this career and earn in 6 figures in dollars, this is where you will determine it, because this is the bedrock of your career as a software test engineer. Today you hear software tester, next month you hear software test engineer, another you hear software development in test, and now you hear quality assurance and control. You will not know what is what because you do not even know what you are doing. So you need to have the bedrock of your career. That's why it is important. What happens if you don't do it is opportunity access. You lose opportunity because you don't have the bedrock understanding. You lose opportunity. Why most people don't do it is because they don't know it is not just an action. It is a process. That's why a lot of people don't have the in-depth understanding. They think it's just to pass and fail. So a lot of them, they go and take they take courses on YouTube or Udemy. They take 1 or 2 courses and boom, they want to start earning millions. They will not earn the millions because they thought it's just an action. Whereas software testing is a process. The third thing you need to do is to go pro with your testing skill. Now, the way we have over 100 people on this call today, if you want to stand unique, what do you need to do? All you need to do is to do something unique. Yes or no? Yes or yes? Like one of my mentors would say. Yeah. Yes or yes? I can't see my slide again. Oh.
Yes.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So you need to go pro with your skill. You need to be able to stand out. You need to stand out, because the truth is, the skill you are going out to give, there are people in Nigeria, in US, in UK, in Ghana, all over the world that have the skill. In Nigeria alone, over 200 people are graduating from our program every year. 500 at least every year. So what makes you stand out to get the job easily? Now, there are so many platforms that trains you on software testing. Udemy is teaching people. Udacity is teaching people. There are courses on YouTube you can take. There are so many other academies that you can take. But what makes you stand out is going pro with your skill. Now, what does this mean? Learn an advanced skill. Learning an advanced skill, that is what makes you stand out. An advanced skill is what other people do not have. That's what other people do not. Sorry, I'm trying to reshare my screen. That is what other people do not have that you should have. You need to learn an advanced skill. That is one thing that will make you to stand out. Now, while other people are there showing that I can test, you are there saying that I can test and I can do this. I can test, and in addition to my excellent testing skill, I can also do this. Trust me, if I give you 500 naira, and Blessing says, if you buy this water from me, it's 500 naira. And then Abel says, buy this water from me for 500 naira, and I will give you water for the next 2 days. Who would you buy from? Of course, you buy from Abel, because he is the one that is giving you something extra. And that is the reason why you will quickly go off the market and land yourself a job than every other person that has the same basic skill. So now you're understanding why a lot of people finish from Testify and they easily get a job. It's because they are standing out. It's not just to learn the skill. There is something they are doing different. They are learning an advanced skill that is making them stand out. Why is it important? It helps you to stand out. Why most people don't do it is because they think it is difficult and not learnable. That's why they don't do it. They don't stand because they think it is difficult and it's not learnable. Now, typical example, Bright has been a software tester. He has a typical skill like every other tester in the marketplace. He has a software tester. He has been a software tester for the last 5 years. Now, in the last 5 years of doing this training, guys, we have trained over 1,000 more testers to the market, while he has that 5 years manual testing skill. Now, what he did is that when he came into the program, he has been a software tester for 5 years in Accra, Ghana. He enrolled into the program he came majorly for the hands-on experience like a pro, which he eventually got. At the 10th week of the program, he got an interview invite with Vodafone, and with the guy, and of course, I do a prep interview for him. He was able to successfully land himself a job at Vodafone with a salary that was mind-blowing. This is somebody that has the normal skill that you would have in Module 2. This is someone that has that normal skill in Module 2, in the second step, right? But he has the advanced skill. And at the 10th week, the program is for 12 weeks. At the 10th week, he got himself a job. This is just one out of many other thousands of people. So that is the third thing. The fourth thing is hit the market reformed. Now, first of all, if you have gone through the 1, 2, 3 approach, hitting the market reform will not be a problem. Now, what it means to hit the market reform is that it means you will not jump into the market space and expect a firm to catch you. It's just like when you are trying to jump into the pool, and then you expect everybody to come and say, hey, now that you have a skill, oh yeah, come and work for us. No, that is a very wrong mindset to have. No, you will know how to position yourself and land yourself a dream job. Now, it is beyond getting yourself a job. It is about landing yourself a dream job. A job you will be happy to jump up from the bed in the morning by 6 a.m. Even though you are meant to resume work by 9 a.m. online on your bed, you will jump up and you will be happy to resume work. Why? Because there is something at the end of the month that is making you smile. Because you will land yourself a good company, you land yourself a good money, you land yourself a good bonuses that comes with the job. That is how to land yourself reformed. That is what it means to get a job reformed. It's not just securing a job. It is important because it helps you to commence the journey and, of course, start learning. When you're in that kind of opportunity, when you get that kind of job, it helps you to position yourself well. It helps you to learn better. It helps you to grow. You will be in a particular company for the next 2 years, and you will come out and be as if you have over 5 years of experience. But you will see people that have been in the field for 10 years, but they are as good as someone that is in the field for 1 year. You will not jump into every job that you see. We don't jump into every job. Because they say, oh yeah, come and apply for a job, you have an opportunity. It does not mean that your CV should not be on that table, because you have what it takes to give better than what they are offering. So you don't send your CV to every company. You don't apply to every job you see out there. No, you are coming and you're applying as a reformed expert. Some people, in fact, not even some people, I have not applied categorically for a job in the last 2 years or 3 years of my career. I don't apply for jobs. Jobs comes to my inbox and I get them. I've done jobs that I did not even do interview for. People are graduated in this program and they do not need to go to 2-3 stages of interview before they secure a job. So it is very important that you go to the market reform because it helps you to get a job, a dream job particularly. What happens when you go to the market reform? You start being intentional. You start being intentional about the kind of company you apply to and how you apply to them. Have you ever seen Google say, we are looking for so person? Have you noticed it, guys? Have you seen Google advert somewhere say that they are looking for a software developer? Never. You think they don't recruit people every day? Of course they do. There are ways to apply to those kind of companies. It's not the typical, imagine Google said that they're looking for software tester today. Do you know how many things will be in their email? So they don't. So are you saying that people are not working there as a tester? Of course people are. I say there are not Nigerians there. Of course, there are Nigerians there, but there are ways. There are some kind of people that are meant for those kind of company, and there are ways if you're that kind of person, there are ways you will apply for those kind of job. What most people don't do is that they believe they believe it was about sending out application and wait for response. So most of the time, what people do is that they send their resume and then they wait for HR to call them. That's what they do. They design this beautiful, colorful CV, and then boom, they wait. They said, okay, I've sent my CV. I've sent my CV over 500 CV I've sent this year like this. I did not see any response. Now, that is not to say if you apply for a job, you must get the response. But I'm saying that belief system that you have to send a CV out and wait for response is the wrongest mindset you should have. That's what most people do. That's why they don't get the job. So now those are the 4 things. Now, the truth is, so sorry about that. Let's move. Now, the truth is, I know I have said a lot of things, you are not here, but at least we have done so much today. We have said so much today. And the truth is, these are the 4 frameworks you can use to learn you can use this 4 framework I shared with you. Design a career map, become a professional tester, go pro with your skill, and then get to the market reform. These are the 4 framework you can use to successfully land yourself. You can seriously use to switch into getting a job in software testing and definitely aim in USD, whether you go to the UK or you go to the US or anywhere. Now, the truth is, everything I've said here, you can do them. So far, we have learned that, you have learned all of these things that I've mentioned to you. We talk about the wrong 4 mindsets you have. We talk about the basic thing in software testing, and then we talk about the 4 framework that you can use to switch into testing. So we have learned a lot of that. And the truth is, if you are still on this call by now, it means that you are very intentional. You are not here by chance. You are here because you want to make a career switch into software testing, even if you don't have an IT background. Yeah, and you want us to guide you, right? You want Testify to show you how to do this step by step. You're ready to make a change. Everything I shared with you today is not theory. Like I said, I go to the academic.testifyltd.com, click on the success story, and read success story of people that have gone through this academy and they have testimonies about the switch. Some people did not even go to school at all. So if you are even gone to school, whether you study Greek or elect, is even an advantage. Right? So everything we share with you today works. It is proving over and over again. The truth is, you have 2 options. Especially the framework I share with you right now, or that I share with you right now, you have 2 options to do it. You can do it by yourself. That's the first thing. So don't get it twisted that you cannot do it by yourself. All you have to do is you have to watch YouTube. You have to buy courses online, Udemy, Udacity, and all of that. Buy courses. You have to do it by yourself because, of course, there'll be no one to guide you, or so no one to direct you on what to learn and when to learn and how to learn it or how long. The only thing is that all of these things you can do it for free. If you do it by yourself, you can do it for free. The only difference is that on an average that I've seen so far, because I have people that have been on the call like this with me before, for over 1 year or 2 years ago, and then they came back saying that they have been trying to do this by themselves for the last 2 years before they now came back to enroll into the course. So you can do it by yourself. You just on an average, it's taking like a year or 2 before you secure a job, which is not bad. Just a year or 2, but you can learn it for free. Go online, just find resources online, just study by yourself, watch courses, just learn anyhow. You can do it by yourself. Or you use my fast track framework. You say these 4 things I shared with you, giving you a detailed career map guide, and you'll be able to create a career map no matter, even if what you're doing right now is a cleaner or a security job. You will develop a detailed career map. We will show you how to do that. You will have a professional software testing skill. You will stand out with an advanced skill in software testing, and will teach you and help you land a job reformed. Meaning that when I say land a job, it's not that we'll give you a job, but it means that, 1, it will help you, we'll show you how to create a resume that stands out, LinkedIn that stands out, teach you how to make yourself visible, to show yourself to hiring managers that will troop into your DMs, share with you opportunities when you're in different our communities. They're going to be sharing opportunities for you to do. So there are these 4 frameworks to be shared with you. And all of it can be taught in my framework. It is a 3-month framework, meaning that all of these things I shared with you can be achieved in 3 months. Meaning that by the 10th month, by the 8th month, by the 6th month, no, sorry, why am I saying month? By the 6th week, by the 8th week, by the 10th week, you can start securing yourself a job. Meaning that by this time, June, I don't expect you not to be going for interview and securing a job already. So you either do it yourself or you use this fast track approach where you get detailed lesson, you have workbooks, you have support, you have community, you have mentorship, all to help you get the results at the end of the 3 months of the training. The choice is yours to make. You either do it yourself or you make a choice by using our own framework. If you want to make a choice by doing our framework, all you have to go to is academy.ltd.com. As of today, the main price of the course is $220,000. If you go to the website, that's the price. It's $360. But we are currently running like a Valentine promo. I don't know when the Valentine promo will finish, but I know that the Valentine promo is making the course go for 180K. And with this 180K, you can click on the link that I have that I will share in the chat section or in the description of the video. And you can just go straight to the website. So you can pay directly from the website, but I also attach the link here, or you can just make a transfer. Another question you asked me that, okay, President, what if I want to pay in installments? Of course, you can pay in installments. All you have to do is pay 50K to start, and then balance up the remaining 1 month at the end of. So we have a next cohort starting in March 6th, and then you pay 50K to start. You can balance up the remaining 1 by April, right? You can pay in installments.